Yes, as in hello, I'm Darth Leon, and this is gonna be something a little different. We even have like super chill music in the background, and this is going to be released like right after the final episode of Persona 5, where we will like we will have finished the game, we will have had all the cool finale stuff where everyone dies. No, wait, I don't think everyone dies. I think only one specific person died, and that was questionable. And everyone leaves, and everyone is having fun. And I'm not sure why I'm rambling, to be perfectly honest. Uh, but yeah, I decided that I would like to be crucified for my opinions. So for that reason, I've went ahead and I've loaded up this tier list of every character. It feels like it's almost every character. Is anyone missing? Is anyone missing down here in the bottom? I Not anyone I can think of. We even have like a couple of characters that I did not expect, right? So we will place all these guys in this nice tier list. This guy actually needs to be right here for lore reasons. And we will place them on this tier list where like I did not even bother to like change these names, these letters. Honestly, it is probably going to be a little top heavy because I really like the game. That being said, not every character was created equal. And I am aware of some people's opinions about some characters. And I also know that some people are not going to be happy with some of my choices. Not because, oh, okay, you did not place the characters where they're supposed to be, or you did not do the thing that you were supposed to do. A lot of these characters, like, I did not finish their story, so there's no way that these guys are going to be, like, high enough for them to be, we might not have gotten the full picture of them, right? It's not unfair to say. It's not unfair to say, okay, we did not get the whole picture when it comes to like this kid. Like maybe they had some kind of tragic backstory where we did not know, and like we only got a taste of uh, Chihaya and Oya. Like even Haru got the sword stick during the playthrough, which honestly it's like my one regret. But also like I'm human, right? I I'm allowed to like not have infinite time in the game that's about time management, right? I'm allowed to not be the best at it. We will do our best with the list, okay? Some opinions will be controversial compared to like the common um, like tiering of characters and fame of these characters that I've seen, and some of them are going to be controversial, not for any other reason because I did not finish. So be kind. I'm just a guy. My opinion is my opinion. Do not crucify me completely. Okay? I'm known to have stubborn opinions too, so do not overthink it. Okay. So I generally I moved a couple of people around because like for example these are the Phantom Thieves in the order they join, and then like some other characters, and these are the bosses. Okay. That's why I moved Sai, Ninjima, and Morgana specifically. But, well, the first character you get to play as, you get to see, you get to do whatever, and of course the character you get to spend the most time with is Joker. And, or Rena Mamiya, if you wanna look for his real name, or like his canonical real name. And I'm gonna be super honest, Rena Mamiya checks a lot of my boxes. Kind of an edgy character. Yep. Like character design, not. Dark hair. Yep. I like glasses on people. Yep. And I'm the kind of like normie that like really likes main characters. I know it's amazing. I like the characters that you're supposed to like, depending on like according to the storyline. I know, I know. I'm kind of basic like that. I have a problem. Like character design. This guy is an S for me. I have a problem. Joker has kind of a mean streak. He's kind of like, I don't mind people that are jerks, but I cannot abide to people that are jerks to their friends and in a mean way. He abandoned Ryuji in a couple of bad situations. He threw Ann into like the lions, and I'm pretty sure that there's like dialogues, and I know that like I'm not going to calculate into this mean factor the choices you can make, but the choices you can make that the character makes for himself, I cannot stand by. No matter if they're funny, no matter when you're mean to your friends, I cannot stand by that. Which is the reason why Joker drops to B for me. He drops his meanness to his friends. It's an easy S. But like, I cannot abide with people like. Can we not have that? Okay, there we go. I cannot abide to someone being a jerk to his friends and not apologizing for it. Even if especially if it is the main character, like, I know it's kind of like a soft-hearted opinion. I am a softie. I like my friends. What can I say about that? And speaking of friends, the role of the best friend in the game, and of course the first friend Joker makes, goes to Ryuji. Which again, Ryuji goes straight into A. We like a good friend, we like a best friend, and we especially admire a friend who is willing, and he even takes the plunge of self-sacrifice. And for that reason only, and not only, but that is the main reason why Ryuji is the first one allowed on S tier. Morgana. I've seen you guys who are like, okay, Morgana has like has an annoying voice, and like maybe his role in the whole story isn't like the strongest, and like maybe he's got this like kind of weird side story at around Okumura Palace, where he like gets annoyed and he runs away. Morgana and Ryuji have a very similar problem on this team, and because they are the ones that are the longest around in the game, they are also the ones that kind of become the end of the jokes, not for any other reason, but because they are like the safest characters, and they have the most opportunities to be the ends of the jokes, okay? That being said, Morgana plays an extremely important role in the gameplay, and that is the main role of the healer. And this is where we get into completely objective territory. And I'm going to go like back a step. I can also understand people that are not into his one-sided crush with Ann. I can get that. But I like the healer of the group. And it's also very important to say, he's a little guy, and he's a cat. Like, I cannot put my cat lower than B. I also did not enjoy the subplot romance thing. I am not going to lie to you, but I can understand his frustrations at the Okumura Palace, or like before the Okumura Palace, or whatever you wanna call it. I get it. I don't agree with it. Like, I don't agree with the frustration. I actually didn't mind that. I could understand like the fact that he would be angry about it, but also I think that he redeems himself simply because like he never even considers betraying us on the same chapter, right? He's sort of given the chance, and obviously he doesn't take it because he's a good cat. He's a good cat. And again, okay, apparently every email really wanted to happen right at this moment. That's a very weird time for this to happen. Thankfully, none of you noticed those bunch of like notifications because this is only recording a very specific part of the screen, the window that we're currently looking at. I like Morgana. I like my cat. I don't gotta explain this any further. And but this is gonna get controversial real quick. I think Anne has to go on B as well. And like, how do I say it? I I feel for starters her story is a little confused in the sense that they sort of like don't like they split the difference between her wanting to get stronger and her wanting to become a model, and I guess like those sort of things kind of align for her, and that's the point. But I don't know, right? And there's also something to be said about the fact that she's 16 and she's like the main target of the sexualization. This is kind of like my problem with these games, not like just Persona, right? I mean, in the sense that these kind of like sort of Japanese games where they give like the characters like sexualization and stuff, but they're also high schoolers. Like, can we not make them high schoolers? I'm almost 29. Like, I don't know. I prefer girls that are like in the 30s, I suppose, at this point. But like, it is awkward. I don't wanna see a 16-year-old girl sexualized, right? Can we have like in the next Persona be around 20 somethings? Just so they can like not feel awkward about the sexualization of these characters. I do not appreciate the fact that like there's a bunch of scenes where Anne is directly sexualized, and I don't appreciate the fact that like she's the one character that's always uncomfortable in her own uniform. And like kind of a weak story. Okay, this is why she's gonna go on B. That being said, I really do appreciate Anne, and that's why she's also going on B. Like with all those grievances, you would think that she goes on C or even lower. And this isn't just like me, like how much I like the characters. It's also like I'm allowed to criticize the storylines, right? Right. I'm allowed because like I'm making the video. That's what I mean. I'm allowed, right? Right. So yeah, I think Anne deserves to be on B. Simply because she's a cool character. We got a lot of time with her. I don't think that like her message is bad on her storyline. I am a believer that people should be allowed to cry, but like that's about the end of like my disagreements on the message. Because I remember she was like, I don't want to cry or whatever. And it is important to have like this relationship with her where like if you don't go for her, you're still like you're like she's like your first friend that's female, and like she's got this tragic story, and you respect the boundaries, and you don't even think about it. I really appreciate that. I can really appreciate that. So, from the person that got sexualized to the person that really wanted to do the sexualizing, Yusuke. And this is also gonna be controversial, probably, especially because he is my Spectrum brother. But out of all the storylines that I finished from the Phantom Thieves, his was by far the weakest. By far. I mean by far. I mean by far, by far. I mean by so far that like I need to take a bullet train to be there on time. Far. His storyline is basically a nothing burger, where like the whole thing that happens is that he learns how to draw better. Okay, I don't disapprove. I don't see the point. I don't think he learns anything emotionally or psychologically. Like, what he learns to see more, the beauty more. Is that it? Is that good enough for you guys? Is that like, did you all sit down, the writers sit down and were like super glad about like how they did that story, how that story ended? Were they? Did like, do you guys sit through the Yusuke storyline and be like, oh wow, yeah, I absolute cinema, guys. Like this is the best written character, story wise ever. Do you? Do you? Like he's got everything that has to do with his mother and his and the painting. 8 tier, absolutely 8 tier. And I do like his character design, but I will also go ahead and say it's probably the weakest suit out of all of them. So I hate to say it, I hate to break it into the to break the tier with this. I think he's going on C. I think he's going on C, and he's going to C and on C, and I think I'm being generous. I think that overall he's probably like the tier breaker, right? If anyone else goes on C, they probably go over him. Makoto. Alright, I found the name. Makoto. Makoto is an absolute queen. I really appreciate how, admittedly, like she joins the team in a kind of like weird way. I appreciate that she was the first one to find them out. I don't appreciate that she tried to blackmail them. I appreciate that she actually changes her mind, and I appreciate that she's actually kind of a klutz, right? Like you have this absolute strategic character. She's the strategist of the group. She's like she's meant to be like the soft leader in the sense that like she's the planner, and she's like the smart one, and of course she's helpful in the sense that she's an upperclassman, so she helps with classes and tests and stuff. But she's also got like pretty nice. She's not perfect, right? They could have easily gone the direction where she's like perfect. She has no flaws, and like she's still their leader. But she's kind of a weirdo. But she also like cares. And I go as far as to say she's probably part of the storyline of the most important and best palace of the game. Which is why she gets to be on A. Again, I would never like be into it personally at this time in my life, but it also feels like she's the character that you're sort of meant to be with romantically. Like she's the designated romantic choice. That's how it felt to me. Because it's also like the safest, right? Not in the sense that, oh, okay, she's like um uh, there isn't any weirdness under it, if that makes sense. She's just a, an upperclassman, and that's it. You don't get to rescue her from like a sex abuse case. You do not get to worry about her being your soft sister. You do not care about like you have to save her from some kind of unwanted marriage only for you to be like in another super committed relationship. She's just an upperclassman who just didn't have time to do relationships, and she's kind of awkward about it. And honestly, as far as dateable characters go, she's probably the safest in that way. Speaking of like weird dates, Sakura Futaba. I cannot abide by any romantic relationship with Sakura. She's the little sister. She's little sister coded. Absolutely not. If you do that, I will judge you harshly. I will judge you harshly, like super harshly. Like you can pick any other romantic choice in this game. I will judge you harshly about Sakura. That being said, is it unfair? Is it? Am I being phobic by doing this? Am I being unfair? Here's the deal. Again, sort of a weak storyline. And has the worst palace by far, palace wise. Like, this was something I realized on the editing room while I said that while I was playing it. I feel like she's definitely got the weirdest palace. And she's got the worst boss fight. Not in the sense like the mom fight isn't interesting, and I don't know, a little too many game references, maybe. I know it's kind of weird coming from a gamer. I don't know. It feels kind of immersive playing, having a main character do that. However, and this is gonna turn the tide for you Sakura fans out there. Weaponized autism. Grabbing the phone of Akechi and putting in the malware. And also being an absolute genius in tech in general. I'm gonna go ahead and put her on B because she's absolutely amazing at that. And I have an appreciation for that. Yeah, being the character that's like, oh, okay, like she just grabs Akechi's phone and nobody stops her, nobody questions it, nobody, like, not even Akechi catches it. Absolutely amazing, unquestionable, weaponized autism, using your weaknesses as strengths. Absolutely amazing. No notes. Absolutely hilarious scene. Was super into it. It was nice to see the plan coming from a little far away, but it was nice to see it. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's letter tier worthy of a scene. Another controversial opinion, but you know what? Just rip the band-aid. Yeah, it's unfair. I understand. You did not finish the story. I understand. I did understand. I understand. I get it. You're right. I did not finish the story. I don't think the story was gonna go anywhere that I did not expect. I'm willing to be open-minded in the sense that, yeah, maybe they do something else. But let's be honest. The most likely out on that story is you go in Mementos, you turn the guy's opinion heart, you steal the heart, and he no longer wants to abuse the marriage agreement. He actually does not care anymore, and then Haru gets control of the whole company, and everything is perfect, and she gets to learn how to be a businesswoman while also like going to university or whatever. Okay. Again, willing to accept that, like, I'm not right. Very willing to accept that. I'm very willing to accept that this isn't. I'm off on my guess, but like, that's where it was going, right? Let's not lie with each other. That's where that story was going. And the palace she appears isn't like the strongest story. And I can appreciate Haru like being kind to Morgana. Maybe I'm being unfair. At this time I think she's right where she's supposed to be. Now, the star of the show. Time for, like, nobody would expect anything less than right next to Joker. Right next to Joker. And let's be honest, a cop is a cop and a rat is a rat. That being said, first off, he's a rival. And we like the rivals. Obviously, the rival is gonna be in the same tier as the main character to begin with, especially when they're like a cool rival. However, I can understand the idea that, oh, okay, he's kind of a fraud. That being said, is that bad? He's the villain. Yeah, I don't mind that he's kind of like a fraud. I don't mind that. And also, something that's very important, something that's very close to my heart. Playable rivals get an extra grade. Usually, this kind of like agreement is for your like Dark Beats and for your Protomans and for your like Edgeworths. Playing as the rival is a letter worthy moment just by itself. And I don't mean like, okay, you go to play as Akechi in his sort of like, oh, he's like the nice guy. He's pretending to be a nice guy, so he's got his no. He transforms into his evil self, and you get to play as his evil self. And that's a letter grade. And what's even more important than the fact that you get to play him is the fact that when you get to play him, he's an absolute asshole that keeps swearing, that he is absolutely blood hungry, and that he's an absolute menace that's absolutely hilarious. And I mean, are you expecting this to go any lower than S? Especially when he has the absolute best like co-op move with Joker in the game. Not just with Joker. And this is the reason why Haru is down here, because like she doesn't have like an amazing, like this is also hurting Haru's grade, but he's got like the absolute best and he's freaking hilarious. How can he go below S? Not in my book, not in my tier list. Absolute S tier material. 10 out of 10, no notes. Actually, one note. Put more Akechi in every game forever. He should. I know he's not on strikers. He should be on strikers. It's like it's noteworthy the fact that they added him on Tactica because people really liked him. Like people really wanted him to be on like more games, and they added him on more games. It's really noteworthy the fact that they had to place Persona Q on a very specific time in the timeline because they really wanted Akechi to be playable. What do you want to say? Akechi is famous for a very good reason. He deserves to be on S tier. Unquestionably. I just like a funny villain. Now, admittedly, you only get to play him for like about a month. And this is the sort of same situation with Sumire. You only get to play as Sumire for about a month. And I'm gonna be honest with you with Sumire. And I know I've said this before. But with Sumire, I have a vision. That vision is, you open up Persona 5 Royal. And not only is she like the character that takes a surprisingly extra amount of time in the opening. So you're drawn to Sumire, right? And you open up the game and you are in medias res, you're in a casino, you're trying to escape, the music goes all out and every character is discussing things, and you get to have a couple of fights and the music is exciting and the environment is exciting, and you're playing Persona 5 Royal and you start sneaking around in Joker. In a moment of bad luck, and you've only played with Joker so far. In a moment of bad luck, he gets surrounded. And in this surrounded situation, who comes out to help him? An unknown redhead who basically almost one-shots every character, every villain around here. She does a bunch of cool flips, she throws her sword, she takes a defiant pose, you use her in the battle, she's the first playable Phantom Thief besides Joker, and she helps Joker in this moment of when he's cornered. And then you get arrested. And like in the case where Joker was arrested, she was kind of stronger at the time where he got arrested. And you get to find her as Kazumi. You start having a relationship with her the same way you start having a relationship with every other character. And as the story progresses, you even get she sort of gets a sneak peek of a palace out of nowhere. And she's a cool character, she's got her quirks. The few storylines you get to play with her, they're fine. And she's got her own showcase palace where she sort of has her own transformation, and it's implied that something is happening there with her, but nothing specific. We don't really go into any specifics, we don't really go into any specifics about your background, but there's something there. And you happen to go on this palace, and after that she doesn't join out, right? But when you really need her most, when the story has gone full circle and Joker all alone in a moment of turning the tables of on Akechi, he still gets captured even though it's kind of the plan. She's still there to help him. And then she joins the group. And she gets to be friends with the whole group. She gets to be part of the final assault on Shido. She gets to be there when all of the characters die for 3 minutes. And when you release her from the prison, there's some weirdness there. She's the one character who for lack of a better word, never loses hope. The rest of the team kind of like is weirdly like sad they've died, but for some reason she doesn't look hope. You can even like place her on the main Velvet Room. Maybe that's a little too much, but she's the one character that for some reason hasn't lost hope. It doesn't make sense. Why would she not have lost hope in this hopeless situation? And there is also like weirdness. She's the one character you cannot really be friends with, right? Like mechanically, everyone else's friendship meter has 10 stories, 10 parts to fill the story. She only has 5, and you never are able to finish off her blood oath. That's weird, isn't it? That's like a game mechanic you do not get to participate in, and it's only unique to Kazumi. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird that like it's not even like you've had this sort of roadblock with Akechi and the sort of roadblock with Boss, where you kind of have to wait for a little bit of time for the stories to progress, but you still can fulfill their friendships in their own time, right? It's not like the friendship is literally unable to be fulfilled, which is not true for Kazumi. There's this chain of events that's just like disturbed for only one character. Only one character has this mechanic weirdness, like something is not there, like she's not fully there. And then you beat the god, the ancient god. She's there to beat the ancient god, and as you're about to get arrested because Sainijima needs to, Akechi comes back to life, which is weird. Like it almost felt like you were going, like he died, but it's like you're in that moment saved when you needed to be saved most. In that moment, you're saved, and like that reality change. And not only that, you're saved by the one person that is missing. Your reality has changed in a way that death has changed, your fate has changed, like your destiny of being arrested has changed, and suddenly everything is going great for you. And not only is everything going great for you, everything is going great for everyone. Morgana becomes human for a little while. Anne has her friend back. Like Futaba's mom is back. Makoto's dad is back. Everyone is happy. Everyone's reality has changed. But the weirdness is everyone's reality but Kazumi's. And it feels like your reality hasn't changed. And it feels like Akechi's reality hasn't changed. But in reality, your realities have changed. Only Kazumi's reality hasn't changed. Which doesn't make sense. Why? Because her reality had changed from the very beginning. It's yet another betrayal. This time unknowingly, but it's yet another betrayal. Maruki is there. It appears that in a way she kind of was his pawn before he even started moving pawns, right? Before he even set the board, she was kind of his pawn. How does the group trust that? How does the group trust not only the fact that like this person that they thought they knew for the past 3 months that almost died with them is like somebody they never met before in reality. She lied to herself, but are you really friends with her? Are you really friends with the Sumire, or are you really friends with the Kazumi? And are you really willing to trust the person whose reality was deserted by the guy that's deserting reality from the very beginning? Are you willing to trust that? It's not just Joker. Joker is cool with it. Everyone else, Haru has been betrayed. Anne has been betrayed. Yusuke has been betrayed in his own way by like Akechi once. Do you trust Sumire again? Do you trust this character you've known for months? This person you've known for months, who doesn't even know themselves. But you only get to play her for 1 month, and like even then, she's barely present in her own storyline. C tier. I've already complained about this. You know I've already complained about this. And like, am I going to be like, am I really treading any new water? No. I'm treading the same old water I've treaded for like the past month and a half, where I was complaining about this specific situation. What can I say? Like, you saw where she was, you saw where she is. Igor. I'm gonna say a good reveal. Changing the voice actor, bringing in this weirdness for like the old Persona fans, but also like using the voice actor change for a twist reveal, really good. A tier. Oxy and Moron. I'm not sure which one is which. I feel like this one is sort of angrier, which is why she goes on D. And Moron is going on D. And I know I said Yusuke is gonna be the bottom of C tier. I lied. And Lavenza, come on, really, she's there for like barely a month, and she barely participates. Jose, sort of a mystery character, sort of like this sort of like, I don't know how to say, like, water marker. I'm not sure. Like in my head, I'm picturing it shows the water, the level of the water. Like a thing that shows the level of the water. He's that for the human solar mementos. Is it weird to say the word eh? I think it's not weird. Like he's sort of like a vendor at the end of the day. But I do like his voice, and I did like doing his voice. So I'm gonna have to put him on C tier. Simply because I enjoyed doing his voice. I enjoyed like having him part of like he was fun. I did not like looking for him, and I did not like looking for the stamps, which is why he cannot go any further than C. Absolutely not. But yeah, he's gonna have to be there. I appreciate it. Okay. The boss, or uncle, or Sojiro, and any way you name him, we stand a good dad. He's not only Futaba's dad, he's sort of our dad in this game. If anything, he did better than our own dad. A tier. Absolutely A tier. Is this too harsh? Is this too harsh? I really enjoyed doing his voice. I really enjoyed doing this voice. But honestly, he's probably like the worst NPC that's your friend. By far. Like, the mass murder is S tier. Absolutely, you weren't here for when I explained why Akechi is S tier, but if you want like the TLDR, Akechi is a rival, so he absolutely has to start with next to your character. He's a playable rival, so he gets an extra letter just for that, and he's freaking hilarious, so he gets to be on S tier. And no, I do not want that. Welcome to the stream, Sigma. So, back on Mishima. Like, he's definitely the worst. Like, he's the only one that's like a soft fandom thief, and he's like the worst. So I can really not put him higher than any other, lower than any other friend, but he does not get to be any higher than it is. By the way, you weren't here for like the 15 minutes where I explained that Sumira gets to be from S and went directly to C in like a second. Mishima deserves to be E, I feel. Maybe going on F is a little too harsh. And also, I really enjoy doing his voice like that. It's honestly my funniest voice. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to do the cracky voice. So, I do not remember her name. I am really sorry to admit this. I do not remember her name. I wanna say Sue or Sui. I do not remember her name. But she's Zan's friend that tries to commit suicide and she basically kickstarts the whole thing. She wasn't around for long. I don't have anything negative to say about her. I just can't in good consciousness put her above the because she's not around for long. She's not around for long. I just don't like. I don't have else to say. It's kind of a weird. Like, where else do I put her? Right? She's not. She's not Mishima level. But like, where else do I put her? Do I put her next one? Should I put her next one? She does basically backpack the whole in the whole storyline. Nah, nah. You know what? I'm gonna do here like a service. She gets backpack thanks to one like a letter. She still has to be like below Yusuke, but she gets to be above Modern. Okay, okay. Maruki, Maruki. Uh, I don't know what the correct pronunciation is. Was there a better fall from grace than Maruki in this game? And I'm saying this in a good way. Like, I'm not gonna lie, him being the final villain is a kind of a meh. But a good guy turning bad and still trying to do good, I think that deserves some writing praise, surely, right? Surely that deserves a little bit of something. And I think that a little bit of something is probably B tier. He gets to be a taxi driver at the end too. So even like after being beaten, he's the only one who has an honest continuation in his life. Put him on B. It's fine, right? Surely it's fine. Teacher. I'm trying to remember their name. I'm trying to remember her name. Kawakami. So, Kawakami. Now, I want everyone to be aware of this. If Joker was not her student, and if Joker was 18, heck, I will even go one step further. If Joker was 21, and he was in college, and the sleepy teacher was a romanceable choice, I would probably be into that. And she's also a really good person. And like, I don't know, there's something to appreciate about a person that like kind of overworks to try to solve things, and like, I don't know, I find the character fun. I find Kawakami a fun character because she's legit a good teacher. She's just in a bad situation, and like you help her in the Phantom Thief way, and like, I don't know, I feel she deserves a. Is it too nice? Am I playing too nice for a character that I appreciate in a roundabout way with a lot of caveats? Yes, I am being too nice. I am being too nice. I decided I am being too nice. I cannot in good consciousness put Anne on B because of her age inappropriate sexualization, and at the same time put Kawakami higher because it's the same type of sexualization, but you get to be the victim. I do not appreciate this kind of writing. I've decided. And I'm even going to say bottom of B. I cannot go any lower, I think. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to go any lower. C would be on A with all those caveats. Like, remove the creepy teacher storyline and make Joker older. And I know I'm kind of committing the same sin, especially because he kind of admits that he's not super comfortable with that. I'm going to do this. I'm sorry. I've got my taste, okay? I've got my taste. Everyone knows it. I cannot hide it. Okay? That's very true, Sigma. You are absolutely correct. I'm thinking a little lower, and not specifically like in that way, in a different way. But yeah, you are absolutely correct on that one. So, the chest lady, the sword gear lady. I feel like she's sort of got this sort of if Makoto wasn't your choice, the teenager from a different school that's kind of a nice person. This is definitely a nice person, and she's got sort of like a basic storyline, but she is honest about it. She's a very safe, romanceable choice. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. She's, yeah, I'm gonna have to say, I think that's fine. She's not as exciting as. This is. I'm placing her here. I'm placing her here. I'm placing her here, and I'm moving my cursor away, trying to convince myself that, like, my problems with these two characters are not as big a deal for me to create a new tier where I have to place everyone there so that, like, the lack of excitement from this character is. You know what? She plays Sogi like she's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! She stays on A tier. I've convinced myself. We stand a good dad. I don't really have anything more to say. We stand a good dad. Not as much as this dad, but we do stand a good dad. Oh yeah. Am I being unfair? Am I being unfair? There is a chance I am being unfair. And the reason is because I never finished the story. Maybe the story takes a turn I did not expect, you did not expect. If there was ever a character I was least excited to speak with, to the point that I'd simply decided to do literally anything else than speak with Oya. Am I being too fair? Am I being too fair? Am I being a little bit unfair? I'm being a little bit unfair. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, putting her on E. This is, everyone needs to understand. If the storyline finished in a way I did not like, she's absolutely F. I will even go as far as to say she's F. She's F. And that's assuming that the storyline does not take an interesting turn I do not see. But because there is this like sort of mist of storyline that I did not get to finish, put here an E. Simply because like there's a mist here, like fog of war of part of a storyline that I did not finish, whatever. And I'm gonna put the scammer right next to her. I do not think I need to explain myself. She's fine there. She's fine there. She took 100 yen from me at the point where I needed it. And she gave me a bunch of salt. She gets to be where she is. And again, she gets that. Am I going to lie? I'm not going to lie. I think she, even worst case scenario, she gets to be here. Even if the story does not switch up things in a direction I really enjoy while you play it, I don't think she goes on F. I think she's good on E. Maybe she's here. Maybe she's here. Maybe she's here. She is where she deserves to be. I am not being unfair to Chihaya. And I think I'm also not being unfair with this guy. But I'm also willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that during Hawkmoth storyline he gets to do something cool. If you are actually fully friends with him. I'm giving him that benefit of the doubt. And like, you can see this, right? I'm not being unfair. I am not being unfair. Giving people a whole extra grade for being in the fog of war where they did not get, where the storyline wasn't finished and maybe they get to do something really cool. I'm not being unfair. I don't think I'm being unfair. I think I'm being very fair. And for the same reason, Kid goes here. Yeah, no, Kid goes here. But Moron goes here. Moron goes here simply because we're giving people the benefit of the doubt in this case. But like, if these people really have cool storylines, Moron gets to be here. Understandable? Understandable. Ant's rival. Kamoshida. First villain. Did the music end? The music ended. Have we really been here for over an hour? We've been here for 58 minutes, which is almost an hour. Okay, guess we're starting the music. Kamoshida. Memorable villain. Sets the stakes. It's important to have him. He instantly introduces the four main characters and excuse me, the whole school with him. He does what he's supposed to do. He activates a bunch of personas. He is despicable. He's absolutely rememberable till the end. This is gonna hurt, but for the role he plays, this is for the role he plays. This is not how much I like him. I want everyone to understand that. If this was just like, oh, how much do you like these guys? All the villains go on F. Like, no. this is how good a role he plays in the game. And the role he plays in the game, honestly, I will go as far as to say, with one exception ahead of me, he is the best villain in the game. Like, outright villain. With one exception that's ahead of me. And it's not gonna be the one you expect. But I feel he's a good scumbag. It's nice to take him down. He's interesting to fight. And there's also a little bit of extra there, which I cannot say too much about because it's part of Persona Q too. There's a little bit of extra there. So I think for that alone, he deserves to be on A. Simply because he plays a good role, not because I like him. And for that reason, I also feel that Madarame gets to be on B. Admittedly, he gets to be at the bottom of B, like unquestionably. Meanwhile, I feel this is more correct. But Madarame, he's a cool fall. I honestly really like the design of his boss form. It's memorable to have him on the beginning. I think he's fine on B. I think he's fine on B. Now, honesty, absolute honesty, absolute 100% honesty. I think like we're kind of missing Futaba's mom here. I think he's by far the most boring, most uninteresting, most worthless. I did not find the visuals look funny. I did not find his storyline compelling. I did not find the idea behind him compelling. Absolute F tier, bottom of F tier. Like, honestly, if Oya is exactly what I expect her to be, he's just above Oya. Absolutely the worst character, and like I'm not even joking, everyone else here is gonna get a little bit higher. For that reason, we're going to sort of like do a little bit of this movement. We're gonna do some movement. We've done some movement of characters. The principal, kind of a mediocre villain. Honestly, does he do anything? He sort of puts Makoto on the spot to be like a spy on us. And the fiancé. Like, I don't have a lot to say. They do not really play too big a role. That being said, Father Okumura. Good God, was he the most frustrating boss to fight. He was the only boss that actually beat me not once, but twice. Not just once, like he got to beat me twice. And also, he's an absolute scumbag. I feel we go B tier. Saenijima. Yo, this is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be so controversial. The prosecutor mom instantly goes on B. Instantly goes on B. Like, unquestionably. Like, put nothing else on it. Put nothing else. Like, you get. She's like the one villain you get to speak with on a consistent basis. She's absolutely instantly on B. However, I would lie if I told you I did not get a kick every time we got to visit Prosecutor Mom at the beginning of a friendship And every now and then, like, getting to have prosecutor mom every time we met a friend, she was like, "You had to have someone feed you. Somebody fed you. You have somebody helped you plan. You got the guns from somewhere. It's all a bunch of accomplices, and everything is connected." And I absolutely got a kick out of it every time. And because she's the character you get to the villain you get to meet the most, you get to like interact with the most, you get to like learn the most of her. You can see that there's something there. She's not a bad person, she's just looking for the truth. She's honestly looking for the truth, and she's even willing to hear you out. She's the one guy in the one person in this sea of villains, in this sea of enemies, that is actually honestly looking to hear you out. She's honestly looking for the truth. And she's even beginning to trust you. And she's even beginning to hear you out. She's willing to play along. She steals her own heart. She changes her own heart. And when it's time for her to be the villain, she's an absolutely 10 out of 10 smoke show S tier. I told you there was a villain ahead that was bigger than Kamoshida. And there's a villain in my hands. But I just placed Cyanidsm at the top. So where does Hawkmoth land? I think he lands on C. And the reason he lands on C is because I think it was honestly underwhelming when you fought him. Again, he's supposed to be the nemesis. He's supposed to be the nemesis. He's supposed to be the sort of character where the whole game sort of builds up to. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like his character. I honestly feel like he's kind of a bore. He's supposed to be this like Machiavellian guy. He's sort of like a weird politician, really. I really don't think he's that big a deal. Is it weird to say that? Is it weird to say that? Is it weird to say that for the villain that's supposed to be the main villain, he's underwhelming? He's underwhelming to the point where I really feel that there was more hype and more interest in fighting Saiyajin. There was more hype in fighting like the Kamoshida, because like you actually go to fight a scumbag that you knew, a realistic scumbag. But with like Hawkmoth, I think his actual name is Shido. But with Shido, I don't know, like he should have been better. I feel like we should have had an opportunity where we could have actually committed violence against him. But he's like Joker's sort of a good guy that doesn't fall for it. I don't know. There's there's a lot to not like here. There's a lot to be underwhelmed with here. When beating the main villain isn't fun, I don't know. It feels like something went wrong. It feels like something went wrong. That being said, that final form though, got a lot of laughs out of that. Got a lot of laughs out of that. Nah, can't do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do this. I'm willing to do this. Okay, looking back at what we've created. what we've brought upon this world, what enemies we've made by creating this list. Is there anyone who's in a wrong spot comparatively to where they're supposed to be with other people? Besides splitting the B tier in twain, I don't really see any reason to play things differently. Maybe there's some corrections to be done in this location. But that being said, I think I'm happy. I don't think I've made too many wrong choices in my opinions. I feel like this represents how I really feel. Yeah, I feel this is fine. I feel this is great. I'm proud of what I've created here, and I think this is the most objective, most correct opinion. And if anyone else disagrees with it, honestly, I'm going to come to your house and I'm gonna change your heart with my magic abilities. And honestly, you're wrong, you're evil, your desires have been deserted, and I hope you have a great night. And I'm going to see you guys later. Have a wonderful evening.